everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with the preview video for this upcoming 1 o'clock Sunday matchup between the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Okay, obviously both teams are in the AFC East. Both teams are not having the best of seasons. The only difference pretty much between the two teams is that the Miami Dolphins going into the season kind of had the idea that they were going to be finishing as the worst team in the league, second worst, third worst team in the league, whereas the New York Jets, some people had this team with a ceiling of possibly making the playoffs, right, including myself. You kind of take a look at the team last season under Todd Bowles, under these guys, Jeremy Bates and whatnot, Casey Rogers, Mike McCagnon, and you look at some of the moves that they made in the offseason, right? It seemed like they made a lot of credible quality moves, right? Like adding C.J. Mosley and Le'Veon Bell and getting a couple upgrades on the offensive line. Having the third overall pick in Quinnen Williams. Getting the coach that Sam Darnold wanted in Adam Gase. Even though nobody was really on board. I'm pretty sure it's pretty safe to say everybody was, well, a lot of people were pumped up about Le'Veon, some of the free agent signings, the draft picks as well. But the coach, on the other hand, I think there was a pretty good understanding that the Jets fans did not want Adam Gase. All right, they didn't want him. I remember when I posted that reaction video when Gase got hired, everybody was pissed. Everybody was pissed, including myself. So you take a look at the team from last season, and you look, on paper, right, there's no way this team could get worse, right? With Darnold going into year 2, upgraded O-line, running back, got in, Greg Williams, who's a credible defensive coordinator. You're looking around this team and you're like, there's no possible way this team could get worse, but they did. And they got a lot worse, and it sucks. And you can never really foresee injuries. You can never really foresee illnesses or anything crazy like that. But it all happened, right? It all happened. We actually had a couple guys suspended as well. So, it hasn't been the season that we've wanted as Jets fans, but that's kind of the only difference between the two teams. That and the Jets have one more win, but we haven't really beaten any good teams this season. Oakland was a really, really solid win, and Dallas was a solid win, but now it's looking like Dallas is just an average team. The other two wins, New York Giants are record-wise the second worst team in the league, second worst. And then the Washington Redskins, I personally think they are the worst team. I would rather take the Giants. I'd rather take the Bengals. I would rather take the Dolphins over the Washington Redskins. So 4 wins on the year. The Miami Dolphins, they have a credible win in the Philadelphia Eagles. But, the Eagles are kind of banged up, and, how good is Philadelphia actually? So, 2 of the lower class teams in the league squaring off at 1 o'clock. Last time we played, you have to tip your cap to the Miami Dolphins, to the Miami Dolphins fans. They beat us fair and square, right? They beat us, let's not sugarcoat it. The Miami Dolphins beat our ass, right? And the Miami Dolphins at the time did not have a win. And they were openly tanking, right? It was pretty obvious that what the plan was for the Dolphins moving forward. Lose games, try to get a top 3 pick here. The Jets lost to that. And what makes it even worse is that Dolphins team fired Adam Gase. So he actually has some sort of understanding of the personnel. And, so that's basically, it's just bad. But anyway, let's hope that the Jets could bounce back and look somewhat competitive against this Dolphins team. The Dolphins stormed back. They were down 14 points in that victory over the Eagles. They come back and win at home against the Eagles, where the Jets are up in Cincinnati, cold Cincinnati, and we can't even. We lose 6-22 to the winless Bengals. Again, we are losing to a winless football team. Record-wise, the worst team in the league, 0-11, and we just get killed. We get killed. And it's not like Andy Dalton. We can't throw the Andy Dalton excuse out there because it's not like he was announced the starter the day of or the day before. We had all week to prepare for Andy Dalton. I keep seeing all these people like, oh, the reason why we lost is because Andy Dalton, and Dalton was the starter and it wasn't Finley. Like, yeah, but Dalton was winless as a starter too earlier this season. Andy Dalton is not a Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers, a Russell Wilson, a Patrick Mahomes. He's not. Solid quarterback. average, little bit above average, but there's no reason, there's no excuse why we came out flat, why we had all those penalties, and why we lost to another winless football team. So we just got to look competitive. I mean, CJ Mosley got put on IR. He's done for the season. Le'Veon Bell probably won't play. Jamal Adams probably won't play. I actually don't think Adams is going to play at all. So it is what it is. At this point in the season, it's kind of like, all right, the Jets are not making the playoffs. If we would have beat Cincinnati, okay, and then, stacked it up with another quality win against the Miami Dolphins, like, you can make the argument, like, somehow the Jets could find a way. But after that demoralizing loss to the Bengals, horrible stuff. It was just disgusting. Players playing with no effort and this and that. And, so we got to come out with some sort of spark. But the one silver lining in the whole thing, with all these injuries surrounding the team, right, with Mosley and Adams and Le'Veon Bell, and then really at the cornerback position too, because Tremaine Johnson's hurt, this is a prime opportunity for the younger guys on the team, right? Some of the backup DBs, some of the backup defensive linemen and linebackers. We kind of already know what's good with Bilal Powell and Ty Montgomery, but at the running back position, but especially on defense, man. Christopher Johnson came out and said Adam Gase is going to be returning as the head coach next season. I personally think Greg Williams has done a fantastic job of the defense, or with the defense. I mean, considering the injuries, considering everything that's went wrong with this team, and also considering that the Jets, I think, have the 31st ranked offense, which that kind of means you're punting a lot, you're turning the ball over a lot. I'm looking at this defense, and there's a reason why people are still looking at Greg Williams to be a head coaching candidate. So I'm really impressed with Greg. This is a prime opportunity for some of the younger guys on this team, right? Whether, you're looking at guys like Blessian and Austin and whatnot, or even some of the, linebackers like Neville Hewitt and stuff, to step up, make plays, and to show this coaching staff, to show this organization, to show the fans as well, why they should be New York Jets in 2020 moving forward. So I actually am pretty pumped up about that, because I always like seeing young players play and kind of just the growth over time of younger players, because you never know who you could find. Look at all these guys that were late round picks that turn out to be heroes for their team, right? Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. Who else? Richard Sherman, late round pick. Josh Norman had, some fantastic games for the Carolina Panthers. He was a fifth round pick. So you never know what you can find when you just let the young players kind of go out there. Hey, Robbie Anderson was undrafted. We would have not known what Robbie Anderson had if he didn't get the all those snaps in preseason. So let the young guys go out there, fly around the field. Let's have it just a simple game plan, and let's be competitive, right? Let's not lose to the Miami Dolphins, the team that Adam Gase used to be employed by. Let's not lose to this team twice. Let's prove to Miami that they made a mistake in the Gase hire. But, I can only hope on that. So I don't really have a lot of faith in Gase, but I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys want to see in this game? I'm excited. Let me know down below. And thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.